Buckingham Palace has confirmed Prince Harry will attend the King's coronation in a few weeks' time, but without the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan will stay on in California with the couple's two children. Let's go live now to the royal editor at the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers. Hello, my old friend. Hope you're all well. It's been a little while, but now things are ramping up again. We've got this breaking news out of Buckingham Palace. So just elaborate on what Prince Harry has decided to do.
Well, indeed. Good morning, Peter. Lovely to join you. Well, I suppose it's the news we've all been waiting for, or perhaps not all of us, but it's kept us entertained over the last few weeks. Now, Prince Harry has decided to announce today that he will be joining the King for his coronation, just a mere 9 days after the RSVP deadline. But we do have a decision that he will be flying into the UK. But Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, will be staying behind. She will be staying at their California mansion. It is a convenient get out, one may wonder, because their son Archie is turning 4 on the same day, May the 6th, as the King's coronation. So I suppose one of the longest running sagas for quite a while. We've finally got a decision. Yeah.
So is that politically, is that the most palatable for the palace, Russell? The fact that Harry's coming, but not everyone is.
Yes, I think all things considered, when we look at the last couple of years, it's been rocky to say the least. I mean, we've had the Oprah Winfrey interview, claims of racism, abandonment. I mean, those claims of racism even disputed by Harry himself when we had his sort of promotional tour for his memoir Spare. That was pretty explosive. Both of them involved in the Netflix series. I mean, it's claim and claim and claim again against the royal family, and it's been a pretty bruising affair. So there was one thing for Harry and Meghan to show up as a couple united in support for the late Queen's passing, but I think it would have been another thing entirely for Meghan to show up for the King's coronation.
What's Harry's involvement expected to be, Russell?
Well, I wouldn't expect too much, to be honest. I'm told that there'll be absolutely no space for him on the balcony. The King has decided to just have working royals alongside him for that big moment. Expect the big fly past by the British RAF. And again, we may wonder what sort of seating plans. Just 24 hours ago, I did a story about the coronation pretty much being in chaos, planning all sense of disarray. And one of those issues was the seating plans. And now perhaps they'll have a bit more clarity about where Harry will sit. But I don't think it will be up in the gods, but I wouldn't expect him front and centre either.
OK, we had this issue, particularly around the Queen's death, that, there was the hullabaloo over what Harry could wear, whether it was uniform, whether it was suits, whatever. Is that going to be ironed out, pardon the pun, this time?
Well, again, you wouldn't expect him to be sort of wearing any of the sort of robes of office. I mean, he isn't a Garter Knight, and that is an issue that Prince Andrew was raising. I mean, he still holds that office within the royal family, despite being stripped of all his military and royal patronages. So Harry, I expect to be wearing a simple morning suit. I imagine he will want to come in and out with as little fuss as possible, because all eyes will be on him, and certainly the Sussex camp tonight making those noises that it will be a very quick and brief trip.
Is he going to have the Netflix cameras with him, Russell?
Well, that is a concern, isn't it? You think about the last few months, and certainly the King, the rest of the royal family were intently nervous about us being around Harry. Harry's spoken about the conflicts with his brother and his father himself after the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. And, there has been this nervousness that anything they do say may be used against them. So I think people would be keeping their counsel and trying to not let his presence oversee the magnitude of the event.
Just behind the scenes, Russell, how's Harry's relationship going with the King and William, for that matter, too?
Well, listen, I wouldn't stray far away from rock bottom, because the King has had pretty much pressing matters on his hand. He had the business of his state visit to France being cancelled, then turning his attention to Germany, which went very, very well. I was on that trip with him, and I think he sort of passed with flying colours. You look at William and Kate, and they're trying to sort of create a new mould for the sort of Prince and Princess of Wales roles that they're taking on. So I don't think there's much time to engage with Harry, and I certainly don't think that that will have cause to happen over the next few days and weeks.
You mentioned Andrew before, so is he going to have much of an involvement as well at the coronation, Russell?
Well, I think he'd probably like one, and certainly the people I've spoken to who are part of the sort of organising party are saying that he'd been causing a bit of headache, because you talk about these garter robes. You may have seen the senior members of the royal family walking through Windsor Castle every year with his elaborate robes, and the senior members of the family will be dressed in those robes for the coronation. Now, he is still a Garter Knight, but as I said, he'd been stripped of all his roles and stepped back. But I think, less is more with Andrew, certainly, and I think this will be certainly.
I did see your coverage yesterday where you pointed to some of the chaos behind the scenes when it comes to the coronation. I mean, is that going to be sorted? It's not very far away now, Russell. I mean, is that all going to be sorted out?
Well, listen, I suppose the mood music I'm hearing from Buckingham Palace is very much, Dunkirk spirit. It will be all right on the night, and I do have some sympathy for them. But just a couple of things that were happening: rehearsals not going on time, a ramp having to be built over fears that the king could stumble during the rehearsals. I mean, it seemed a catalogue of errors, but I'm quietly confident that I'm sure it'll be a great show.
Russell Myers, look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, mate. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you again soon.